waiting, allowing this customer to go on. Well, anyways, I thanked him sweetly, and as the young lady began to cut up the first wrap and wrap up the first flower, I could see how she was moving a bit slow. So when she completed the first rose and showed me how it looked, I complimented that it looked good. Then I said to her, she didn't have to make them look perfect. I only had 5 minutes left to leave. She understood, so she was able to speed it up a bit with the drape wrapping of the flowers. I believe she was able to finish in 3 minutes. She did a pretty good job. Next thing was the price tag. Then went to the self-checkout and paid for the flowers. I went straight to the back stock room, hoping everyone was there. I first gave a flower to Rich, then the fourth employee. Okay, my brain is telling me before I went to the back room, I was searching for Yoselis and Sandra, walking through each aisle, but nowhere to see them. Well, so in the back room, giving Rich and the fourth employee their flowers, I asked the fourth employee, where was Yoselis and Sandra? She answered they were already gone. They left, so they were done for their shift, and I felt disappointed. It was too late, all thanks to what happened at that floral section. All thanks for nothing. So the fourth employee went to see by reaching for Yoselis, calling her, leaving her a voicemail message to let her know I had hers and Sandra's flower, to thank them for helping me out and dealing with me. So I think I left the roses at the desk. The fourth employee said she will be seeing Yoselis and Sandra the next day, so they'll be able to get them. And right before I said goodbye, the fourth employee said she will be coming in to Astor Place, the Wegmans location, the new location there. And I was like, all right. Where I misunderstood what she meant. What she meant, what I thought she meant, was she was going to stop by to pay a visit once the location opened up. When all actuality, she was going to move in to transfer to work at the Wegmans Astor Place location from the Harrison location, where at that time it was it was phenomenal news to learn from team leader Kay that she was coming to work there. It was just great news to hear about it. So before I left, I realized I almost forgot about the runner I left behind in one of the aisles I was working on, and I can tell I didn't have much time to travel back where I left it. I couldn't waste any more time with everyone already to leave and waiting at the bus. So I told the fourth employee that I had left a runner behind, but I had to leave to get to the bus. So she said she will go get the runner. So I told her at what aisle I left it. and said bye. And I made it to the bus, but by the time I was at the bus, I realized I told her the incorrect aisle. Um, what what I'm thinking now and what I believe, still again, if it weren't that moment, that long lasting moment at the floral section, things would have gone smoothly. And I'm thinking again right now, what was this guy's problem? That is what I'm thinking. But of course, there are people these days who are not always reasonable, not understanding, and cherished or even sincere anymore. So, who knows what could have happened at the time in that section? Who knows? But at least I was able to buy and get those roses and express my sincere thanks to the 4 teams for training me. And I made it to the bus. and then, as usual, from Ariana, she had to call me out for being the last to get on the bus. She can be a bit of a loud snitch. Anyways. Oh my goodness. So that was the second time, the moment I had a seat, a chance to have a seat with Davon, and have and manage to have a little conversation chat with him. So that was the last day moment I had that day, and those was the 2 weeks. So that was my experience of those 2 weeks I had on the training during my time at that moment. Actually, a matter of fact, I just suddenly had a flashback. It just came in the back of my head, remembering some little similar I've had before, because it wasn't the first time I done something like this, but it was a little bit grandish. What I done than the 4 roses I given to the 4 Wegmans employee for training me. So before I end this part of video clip, I want to share a little bit of a story, only a little. So it was this was during my time working as a home health aide. The agency I was working for, they were not calling me in for extra more cases. And mind you, this was like before the pandemic quarantine outbreak. So the agency were not calling me in for extra cases lately, and I was working with this one case, and I wasn't earning enough. It didn't earn enough for me to have just this one case, and I'm going to admit during my time while I was working for in a home attending agency, a home care agency, I wasn't, I will admit, I was not quite getting along well with the coordinators. The cases they'll call home health aides in to do, they can be disturbing or horrific. And these coordinators in the office where they're just at their desks, just hiding on the other side of the line, whatever, they're not being called in and walking into random people's places. Yes, random people's places, where there's apartment, houses, whatever. They're not entering into these kind of like premise properties, whatever. And I get annoyed. They annoy me. I get annoyed by them with these coordinators that just clearly don't have a clue. So that's probably the reason why I wasn't being called in for cases, because I wasn't getting along with them. I was giving them heck. Yeah, of course. I'm giving them, sort of a piece of my mind. Well, instead going to apply to work at another home care agency, I decided on applying for a different type of work, because I had for the longest time been trying to completely get out of ever working as a caregiver. I was trying to just resign from it, just be out of it. So in the summer of 2019, I saw online from Indeed.com how much Amazon was hiring, more than any other companies that were advertising job offers. And the Wegmans Brooklyn location, the store location, it was already open at the time, but I had totally forgot about it. I totally forgot about the Brooklyn location. It just didn't cross my mind to check in to see if they were at the time available with job openings. But of course, Wegmans weren't advertising any job offerings from any online job search, not as much as Amazon was. And there wasn't, at the time, there wasn't like as much of those job schemes, or say more like those deceptive job offer schemes that I keep hearing a lot nowadays. Those things, there was not that many of those before the pandemic. And I'm gonna guess as well that in Wegmans Brooklyn store location, they probably hired enough people, so they probably didn't want to hire any more. Probably that's the reason why I forgot about his existence. They just didn't advertise any job openings online, like I said, not as much as Amazon did. So, like I said, in the summer of 2019, I applied in in Amazon for online shoppers position, the online shopping position, or however it's pronounced. I was an online shopper, which it was part-time, and working in doing that in Whole Foods Market. So not only I was working part-time as an Amazon shopper, I was also still working as a home attendant, which that too became part-time. So it was kind of like I had two side jobs, kind of. Yeah, well, anyway. Now, going to fast forward. Up to November 2019, the coming of the Thanksgiving holiday and other holidays. And that's when the online shopping requests was starting to increase. And things were becoming like a hustle and bustle. So there was like a lot of like under pressure mode moments myself and the rest of the other online shoppers were dealing with. But not only that, Amazon, they kept hiring more shoppers as well, more deliverers. So it was like, the way I remember it, it was like overdone.